What's up, guys? Let's take a look at this new EVO shell that we picked up. All right, we do have the OEM Rally Red EVO8 2003 shell. It has the nice paint fade that the red cars are notorious for. I know a lot of times it's a clear coat thing. Like if you actually maybe buff this out, it could bring the shine back a little bit. But they just kind of end up being pink. It's a common thing, especially in like Florida and stuff where you get a lot of sun with the red cars. That's what happens with these. It's got the vortex generator going on here. I don't know if we'll keep that on or not. It's kind of in rough condition. Otherwise, something else you may notice, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think all EVOs have the black door sills like this. Doesn't matter what color EVO you got, the black around the doors is a thing. It's also a little bit unique, I think, to the EVO to have, where not all cars have the actual surrounding around the windows like that. Some of them is just the glass, you know. But while we're inside, this car was pretty ripped apart when I got it. The guy put everything kind of back together just so we could roll it a bit. I took the back seat out because of my fuel my fuel pump install video. I took the back seat out because I took the fuel level sensor out of this one so I could keep working. So that's the good thing about this car. Full fuel tank, full US fuel tank, which assumedly is not rusty and is good, so that's great. And as you can see, like really not, well, there's some rust over here actually. There's a rust hole over there, which is weird to me because one of the things I care about the most with this, of course, is underneath here. If you watch my other videos, you've seen to look here. And this looks so much nicer than this silver car I got. Everything looks pretty good underneath. So that's good. Same with in here. It's quite a bit cleaner underneath here, and it's not like holding a bunch of water right now like my silver one I'm sure is. I don't know where the silver EVO keeps collecting water in the trunk, but it just fills up whenever it rains. And I don't think it's the seal, because the gasket in that one seems good. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it anyway with that car. So we got this rear strut tower bar, which I don't know, probably just take off and sell, honestly. I think it says it's a white line. So this car came with coilovers. I'll probably honestly put stock suspension in. They're just BC coilovers. We'll figure that out when we get there. I also have a whole bunch of parts that came with the car. They're just not on it, of course, like the rear bumper and tail lights. It came with a stock set of wheels. These wheels, if they clear Brembos, cool. I mean, obviously the rear Brembos are never where you're worried about clearance issues, but if there's another set of wheels that clear Brembos, I always like to have those around just to have them. But otherwise, I think they're pretty ugly wheels. Inside looks kind of like any other EVO you'd expect, but I do have the full interior and everything. A couple other changes to like the pedals and obviously that e-brake handle and stuff. But otherwise, it's all pretty stock. I think they reran new lines for like, I don't know if you can get new lines, but for the fuel door and for the e-brake and stuff. The e-brake works, which is great because there's actually no front brake calipers on here yet. I actually might start trying to rebuild the set that came on this car so I can have some nice sets when I swap them over. Obviously this car's been sitting in the weeds for a little while too, but the e-brake does work, so that's good. So then we got a brake of some sort. This was also just kind of thrown together so it could steer. So the steering stuff is kind of pretty far off. The alignment is like way off, honestly, which of course is what's going to happen when you just throw stuff together, but that's all right. That's what it was, just so we could roll it on a trailer. But of course, under the hood here, it's a roller. It's empty. But little things I noticed, even like compared to my silver one, not rusting here where these bolts go in, not rusting up in here a little bit where my silver one had a whole bunch of rust up in here. Although I think this guy did repaint this stuff, but the previous owner being this guy. But even so, I can pretty much tell this was never as rusty as my other car. So that's obviously good. An interesting thing to note probably for people, if you've never dealt with a roller before, you kind of got to build these
pieces to hold your kind of wheel bearings in place. So a lot of people just kind of put a big washer in there and a nut and kind of figure out how to keep those in place. So if you do have a car that you're trying to roll, an Evo that you're trying to roll with no axle, so you got to build something like that to kind of keep it all together. I did get that, if you watch enough of my videos, the Sliver EVO has, I had that new front subframe replaced under warranty. So that should be, like, the whole front part of my Sliver EVO is actually really nice. So ideally I'll just drop that. This one, hopefully, assumedly, it'll drop out in places like right here and right there just fine. And then I can drop this whole thing out. I don't know, I'll look at steering racks yet to determine which one's better probably. But drop this whole thing out and then swap in the engine out of the silver car, transmission out of the silver car, T-case out of the silver car, and all that stuff. Oil cooler, probably all that stuff. This one came with some radium. I should probably take this off so it's not just sitting out here in the wilderness, but radium fuel rail. This car did come with an engine, transmission, T-case too, but condition, I mean, it's supposed to all be good working order, but I think what I'll do is just take everything out of the silver car either way and then put it in here, and then I might sell the other stuff if I need to, or it's always good to have spares. We'll see. So that's this whole shell. A nice little tour of what everything looks like. I have fenders too. I have a front bumper. I have a full car. So it's just all the parts are basically in storage right now. But we will probably get stuff repainted before we do anything with it, since this is the perfect time for a car to be painted, since it's kind of all ripped apart, because you'd rip it down about this far anyway if you were going to paint the whole car. So that's a tour of the new EVO shell. And just for comparison's sake, if you haven't seen the silver one in a while, you know, she got some rust issues going on everywhere. But you know, 20-footer, if you look at it from a long ways away, sometimes it don't look so bad, but obviously she got some rust really bad. Stop blowing holes in my ship. And of course underneath is really bad. I don't know how much lighting we're gonna get to see it, but you know, this chassis leg's toast. Yeah.
So it's the one we need to take everything out of. And funny thing with this one, this is how you open the hood. Womp. Because, I don't know, broke off. I don't think you can buy those cables anymore to actually swap that out. But this is at least an EVO with an engine in it, but we'll have to move all the stuff over to the other one eventually. But what I'm going to do today is I might change the brakes, put some Hawk pads in, and then I might, hopefully, let's see how bad this is.
The clutch pedal obviously needs a new rubber piece, but if you go like, that's how much play it has. Kind of here to there before it even does anything, like at all. I know my black EVO has some play like that too, but I think this is like twice as much. So there's like a spring up in here. I should have brought a light. But there's a spring up in there I'm going to change, and there's a bushing up in there I'm going to change. So hopefully I can make this a little better. And I got a new pad for this, so it'll just look nicer, right? So I'm going to see how much of a pain in the butt that is right now.
If you're curious about part numbers for what I'm doing with the clutch pedal, this is the part number for the spring I was talking about. You just want to change the pad for your clutch pedal. You can get this one. And then this is the bushing part number that I'm going to try to swap out. All right, believe it or not, the only flashlight I have is on my phone, so I can't show you very well what I did under there, but I can show you what I took off. And basically you slide this out. This is right where the pedal kind of connects to this clamp, where it's kind of like this. This goes through. So you take this cotter pin off of that hole right there, and then this bushing slid out, and as you can see, it looks like it's seen better days. Missing a whole chunk. So hopefully this looks like it's the same thing. We're gonna check real quick. All right, there it is, the old and the new. That does look like it should be right. Hooray! So I think that should be a big part of it. I'm not sure if I want to change this spring now, because that might be a real pain in the butt to change. And this I could be done with in like 5 seconds. So I might just try this first and see how it feels.
All right, so I was just checking the cabin air filter that I had in here that I installed a bit back, and it had some dirt and stuff in there, so I just cleaned it out a little bit. But what I wanted to point out is I feel like this is one of those OEM pieces that like you're never super aware of. Like this little cover right here. I know it's dark in here, but like here's your ECU. And then the wires coming out of your ECU, there's actually supposed to be this cover here. I bet most of you guys with EVOs don't have this cover. This little cover pops off, it just slides forward. And it's even got a part number if you want to order one. This one's really dirty, but MR55905 something. I don't know. I'll take a picture later probably, but so cool, huh? There's actually this little wire cover that covers up the wires coming from your stock ECU. I've owned this is like the 5th EVO I've owned, and I've never seen one of these before, so that's kind of funny. That's what was cool about this car when I bought it, is it has every stock piece like ever. This was a super stock car when I bought it, this rusty silver one. But there you go, MR550059. If they still make them, you can just order one if you don't have it. All right, so I got that clutch pedal bushing change, which obviously the old one was pretty much garbage, so I'm glad I did that. I didn't mess around with the spring because that definitely seemed like it would be more of a pain in the butt to get in and to change out. So I'm gonna try it with just that bushing first, see how that goes. And otherwise, I'm gonna do the brakes probably soon. Didn't do them yet though, but I think I'll do them today or tomorrow. But for now, that's it for this video. As always, thanks so much for watching. I just want to say that domestic violence is never okay. If you or someone you know is experiencing issues with a partner and doesn't feel safe, please visit the website thehotline.org or call 1-800-799-SAFE.